For over 30 years, I've used the Total Gem for one reason. It does work.
It is the most versatile piece of equipment I know of.
What I really love about the Total Gem is its simplicity.
I can get great results in not a lot of time.
A few minutes a day is all you need to get in the best shape of your life.
But there are so many different types of exercises.
We work the obliques, traps, chest,
Arms,
shoulders,
Thighs,
lats,
hips.
abs.
Oh, it's fantastic.
The Total Gem does it all. Now, for the first time ever, you can try a Total Gem absolutely risk-free for an entire 2 months. 2 months? Wow. Okay. But believe me, it won't take 2 months. You'll be hooked on it the first time you try it.
To try your Total Gym risk-free for an entire 2 months, call 1-800-941-5053. That's 1-800-941-5053. Call now.
And with me in studio now is Mr. Riggs Eckelberry. He's the CEO of Origin Oil Incorporated, stock symbols OOIL. Riggs, good to see you again.
Nice to see you again.
Riggs, we missed you last week. I understand you were somewhere on the East Coast with some fledgling little network called Fox Business News
I've heard
or something?
of them, yes, and they convinced me to fly over and get on the show, and everybody wants to know what's going on with the price of oil and what's going to happen. What's going to happen now? And of course, we think that the price of oil is a very bad news for the oil industry because they are not making their infrastructure investments now. There's a credit crisis. They've basically hit the wall, and which means that they will not be able to benefit from this respite for the next year or two. And meanwhile, we're in the lab getting it right and doing the right job to get it rolled out to ease the scarcities that will come again.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I'm sure people who've been watching us talk about your company for the last 3 months or so, I mean, when we first started talking about you, gasoline at the pumps was somewhere close to $4 a gallon, and parts of the country higher than that. Now many parts of the country are seeing it somewhere between $1 and $1.50 per gallon. And so for your company that is essentially growing oil above ground by using algae as the source for creating oil, people might wonder, gee, with prices back to normal or even lower than normal, are they still interested in your company?
Well, first of all, they should take advantage of that and save some money because there's so much bad news in the economy. This is actually a relief. But I don't think anybody gets the feeling that this is going to be another long-term period of low oil prices. On Tuesday, President-elect Obama talked about repowering America. He got it right because this is not just going to, sort of ease petroleum dependence. It's also going to create an energy economy that we can own in America, that entrepreneurs in America and all over the world can run, as opposed to being hostage to some very wealthy Middle East nations and elsewhere. So I think it all comes down to what's going to drive an economy. Energy is the biggest driver of any economy. We can own it, and we can drive our energy economy ourselves.
Well, it really comes down to, almost an issue of national security, too. Because as you said, the people that we're having to buy much of this oil from don't really like us very much, especially here in the United States. But even most of the oil-consuming countries are not liked by the oil-producing countries, so the idea of energy independence is a sound one. Now, you envision a future where we have a multitude of entrepreneurs and municipalities that are actually creating these algae farms, so to speak, growing the oil above ground. That's what you see as the future of this industry, don't you?
Well, yes, and because right away there's some fantastic applications for algae that won't be about driving cars down the road, but they will help people who are already emitting a lot of CO2 and creating a CO2 abatement of their penalties, which still exist,
of course.
And furthermore, generating more revenue from that CO2. CO2 almost becomes an asset in that case. So there's very specific situations that are niche opportunities that we'll start with first, while we're rolling out, through the oil chain and getting the oil to the cars.
About 30 seconds left, but real quickly, 09 is probably going to be a pretty busy and big year for you, isn't it?
09 is the year where we're going to go ahead and develop those packaged applications that will go right to work in industry, putting algae to work to help generate more energy for companies that have a CO2 problem or that just want to get more energy out of what they're making. And so that's when we're going to make those showcase applications. It's going to be a very exciting year.
Growing oil, making oil from algae. The company is Origin Oil, stock symbols OOIL. For more information, give us a call toll-free from anywhere in the world, 888-259-4449. Riggs, is always a pleasure.
It's a pleasure, Don.
Take care.